It's time to talk Chiefs and Bills matchup. Honestly, matchup of the season, except maybe you want to argue that next Monday Night Football is going to be just as good. Eagles, Packers, but one AFC, one NFC. The next 2 weeks are going to be fantastic. So to me, I want to hear what you think about this game just off the bat, because I feel like every year we handicap kind of this same matchup. Now, listen, there's new characters, there's new weapons, there's different things about the teams that make them different. But I think stylistically, Reed, McDermott, Allen, Mahomes, like you kind of know what you're going to get, at least from a prediction standpoint. That's the way we handicap the game. So how are you going to do that this week?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that we pretty much know we're getting. It's Mahomes Allen 10, right? Like it's Too Fast, Too Furious. And you just keep making more sequels because they're all good. They're all the same, but it doesn't matter. Like they're great. Let's keep watching over and over. So yeah, for my money, this is the game of the year. This is the best rivalry in football. This is very likely a matchup we will see again in January if history is any indication, and it usually has been in recent years. And this has been one of my favorite games to bet because if you're a longtime listener here, and Evan, you and I have recorded on this game before multiple times, I'm running back pretty much my same bets. I just run back my notes and I'm like, yeah, all these things keep hitting. We kind of know the script here, right? We watch Mahomes, we watch Allen. Game goes back and forth. It's close late, mano a mano, last one with the ball wins, right? Okay, well, who gets the ball last? I don't know, so I don't really know who wins. But so you said matchup. Okay, here's what I think off the top. The Chiefs are on short rest. Sort of. They weren't really stressed on Monday night. I'm not making too much of that. They're heading into the bye week. I think that, this is the game. This is the one you've been watching for with the Chiefs. I don't make too much of that. I don't love the offensive line still. I think Josh Simmons, the left tackle, we're probably still not quite there yet. Trey Smith, the right guard, I'm not sure about him. It looks like Pacheco is probably out. I do think that matters a lot here. The Bills' run defense is not great. And Kareem Hunt is kind of, as a Vikings fan, back in the day, we had Leroy Horde. If you need 3 yards, I'll give you 4. If you need 10 yards, I'll give you 4. Like that's Kareem Hunt. He's just going to kind of give you what you get. So I do think that's a miss. The Bills, though, Ed Oliver is the biggest name missing for them. Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones, both their D tackles are missing. Bills defense, I think, is clearly the weak link in the matchup. We know both offenses are really good. We know the quarterbacks are great. Chiefs defense has been kind of fringe top 10. That's what I thought both of these teams would be. The Bills have not been that. The Bills' run defense has been really bad. And I think for the Chiefs, is it their short passing game? Is that kind of their run game that beats up on the Bills' sort of run defense? Typically, I look Travis Kelce props in this matchup. But last year, Kelce was invisible. The Bills kind of took him out. He had 2 catches for 8 and 2 catches for 19. So I don't know if I need Kelce props here. I started with that. Probably Rashee Rice is going to be heavily involved. With the Bills, they're missing Josh Palmer also. Kind of shorthanded at receiver. We will see if they don't do well in this game. You come out and you got like 1 day to make a trade before the deadline. Do they go get a receiver like we've seen them do? Again, typically I look Khalil Shakir. He's really good in this matchup for Buffalo, kind of the security blanket. I believe, if I remember right, last year that was the key player, right? Shakir like motion out of the backfield and Allen just overthrows him on the 4th down, and that's the end of the season. However, I like Shakir props, but rookie Noah Williams at corner has been really good for the Chiefs. I think he's been good enough to let Trent McDuffie, the star corner, move into the slot, maybe move around with Shakir, and I think that can take away one of those security blankets for Buffalo. And I'm a little worried that the current Bills team is much less last year's version and more the previous ones, where we talked about MVP at the top. Is this an MVP Allen team where he's got to do everything because Shakir is getting covered? James Cook has been good, but can they kind of siphon off the run game a little bit? It's an exciting matchup that we could do a whole podcast on, but that's kind of what I make of the matchup. Before I get to some of my angles on it, what are you looking at here on the matchup?
The matchup to me is kind of simple. It comes down to pressure on Buffalo's side on Patrick Mahomes. I'll give you a few stats before I toss it back. So this year, Buffalo was allowed the 5th fewest checkdowns to opposing quarterbacks. It was the 6th most last year. So that just says something kind of about their defense. But the thing that's a little interesting and maybe a little bit misdirection is their defense is also allowing the lowest rate of clean pockets. So they're doing a really good job. And listen to this list. They're number 1 in the NFL in a defense, lowest rate of clean pockets, 55%, and the highest pressure rate. Okay. The other defenses are Denver and Cleveland. It's just not something you would expect. So I think you're seeing very different defenses out of Buffalo based off of opponent. That's my solution on what I think is going on here. So here's what I saw. Last 6 games, Mahomes versus the Bills. Here's the pressure stats. He has 7 passing touchdowns and no picks in a clean pocket. When the pocket is under pressure, 5 touchdowns and 5 picks. In play action in the screen game, he has 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. To me, this just comes down to if that clean pocket percentage and doing exactly what they've done up to this point this season is accurate, I think Buffalo's going to stay in this game. If they let Pat just sit there, I think they're torched. And the thing, like Rodgers, Pat gets out the ball really quickly, especially in these games when he knows everyone's ramped up. So that I'm going to be absolutely fascinated when the Chiefs are on offense. When the Bills are on offense, I think they're going to struggle a little bit unless they rely on the run. I just don't have faith in their passing game. I think, yes, Shakir could be here, but I think they're going to need Keon Coleman to show up. I think they need random people to kind of show up in this spot to make them move down the field, because if they don't rely on the run and they just go by the pass, I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And the Chiefs' pass rush has not been great really for a while now. So unless Chris Jones has been saving it for this game, maybe they don't get a lot of pressure on Josh Allen and he's able to be the MVP that he certainly can be. And I mean, quite frankly, if we're being fair, Josh Allen's been the better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes in the last couple of years already. So
Sure.
I look at this and I'm like, okay, I prefer the Chiefs, but I think I make this pretty close to a pick 'em. So that would mean slightly value on the Bills at Chiefs -2 on the road. It's not enough for me. I don't need to invest at a -2, a +2, a money line. It's too much. It's cutting things too close when we know this is likely going to come down late. So I'm going to come back to some angles I've played often here. So Chiefs this season have been better early. The Bills are only 2-5 against the first half spread, but we know Josh Allen's the second half king. 67% ATS career, 5-2 ATS this year in the second half. So I was like, okay, Chiefs first half, Bills second half, Chiefs first half, Bills money line. Oh, now I'm back to having to pick a winner. I don't really want to pick a winner, to be honest. I think there are other ways around it. And the Bills, in 9 games against Mahomes, they have led at some point all 9 matchups. So these games are giving Buffalo a shot, and Buffalo's been a little bit better in the regular season matchup as well. In fact, both teams have led in 8 of the 9 matchups. So we're getting the lead going back and forth. Again, I'm not breaking news. Everyone has watched this game. We all know this is what happens, but we can bet it. At DraftKings, under team props, there's a bet that talks about comeback. So here's my first bet. Chiefs to win from behind, +215 at DraftKings. Now look, we all know when Mahomes is trailing in a game, you want the live money line. He's still got a shot, right? But books price that away. They don't give us that anymore. It's a minus number still most of the time. You don't get +215 Chiefs from behind unless they're down 10 points or something like that. So I'm going to, in advance, give Josh Allen credit for taking the lead at some point, maybe early, maybe later, and then get the Chiefs comeback. Mahomes has 5 wins against Josh Allen, all 5 from behind. So all 5 Mahomes wins have hit this bet, +215 comeback win. If you like Buffalo, you can bet the same bet on Buffalo. Just get the right odds for it. You'll get a slightly better price. I think it's a good way to bet it. Or if you just think it's close and you don't know who's going to win, great. I have an angle for you. Last 6 matchups, here's the margin. 3, 9, 3, 3, 4, and 6. So the 6 is overtime, so 0 really. And the 9, well, that was a 2-point game until that crazy Josh Allen run when he ran through 8 dudes and scored a touchdown with 2 minutes left, and that changed it from 2 to 9. So basically, it's a field goal game or less, except once in the last 6 times. So, okay, we can play that. Neither team to win by 7 points or more, +107. Here's how you play it. It's very easy. Same game parlay. Chiefs +6.5, Bills +6.5. Smash them together. Neither team wins by 7. Plus odds on it. has hit 5 of the last 6 matchups here. And then one more similar here. You know we're getting fireworks late. These teams always pull out all the stops in the fourth quarter. Both teams have scored in 8 of the 9 fourth quarters when they play. All but one playoff game. So I played every time. Both teams to score in the fourth quarter. That's a real bet you can make. It's minus 190. It's a high number for me to play at minus 190, but I've seen it as high as like minus 300 at some books. I think it should be even longer than shorter. I never know which way you say it, but it shouldn't be that. You can do that as a same game parlay leg if you want at a lot of books. So maybe you add that in. If you don't like the minus 90, add it with some other stuff you like. But yeah, I think game wise, I'll get to props in a second, but those are the 3 angles. Chiefs to win from behind, plus 215. Neither team wins by 7 or more, plus 107. And then both teams to score in the fourth quarter, minus 190.
Yeah, I guess the only one I would just have like a remark on would be both teams to score in the fourth quarter. And the advantage I think you have, anyone who bets first quarters knows how aggravating it is when the team at the end of the first quarter doesn't care that it's the end of the first quarter and you do because you have your money on it. Well, in this case, it's actually to your advantage because at the end of the third quarter, they're not going to care, and hopefully they score some points at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and now all of a sudden you have a minus 190 bet on like maybe the Chiefs or the Bills to score any points in the quarter. Seems like a decent way to attack that. So that was the first thing that came to mind for me. Okay, let's keep rolling here on Chiefs-Bills. So we're going to stay on this for a second. You have some props. Now, I'll just say this. Every time you watch this game, I feel like it's a playoff game, no matter when it is in the season. And when you get to playoff games, it's doing anything you can to get the first downs. Because I think that's how you get what you're about to talk about is the third and whatevers. They need to get yards to go up and down the field. And this is how Josh gets there. So what are you doing?
Yeah, give me all the Josh Allen rushing overs. There's my go-to bet on any big Bills game, and it is a good bet to make time after time. Look, these are the same angles I'm playing because they keep on hitting. The Bills, the numbers are really clear. The Bills save Allen's legs for the biggest games. Even just this season, the Bills have had a pretty soft schedule. Who are the 2 biggest games on the schedule? Week 1 against the Ravens before they went really bad, and then the game against the Patriots. In those games, Allen averages 11.5 rushing attempts, 5.2 in the other games. So he's literally running twice as much in the games that they think are the big games. And look at the Chiefs over the years. When Allen plays the Chiefs, he averages 10.3 rushing attempts in those games for 45 yards. So even better in the playoffs because, again, now it's actually the playoffs and everything's on the line. But he's running more in these games. And the Chiefs and Bills are top 3 in the league in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. Only the Cowboys allow more rushing yards than either of these defenses to quarterbacks. Now, I'm not sure that's really a thing for the Bills. They played Lamar, they played Fields and Tyrod. I could get behind a Patrick Mahomes rushing over. He's hit his over 6 of 8. It's not been consistent, so I don't mind it. I like Allen. Kansas City has allowed the most rushing attempts to quarterbacks, 6.3 a game. They've allowed at least 6 attempts to a quarterback 5 times already. They'll allow at least 27 yards 5 times, 3 short touchdowns. We know that is Josh Allen. Okay, so what do we bet? Yards, attempts, touchdowns? It's me. We're betting all 3. So over 35.5 rushing yards. That line is up a little bit from his usual. It's not up enough. His floor against Kansas City is 32 yards. We need 36. So that's a good bet. 50 yards or more he's hit in 5 of 9 Chiefs games. That is plus 190. Should be a minus number by his history. Rushing attempts. Over 7.5. It's plus 102. He has at least over 7.5. He's at least 8 attempts, all but once against the Chiefs. And that one missed by 1. So the floor is where this line is being set. Even better, honestly, my favorite Allen bet this week, 10 rushing attempts. So 2 extras, plus 375. 9 Chiefs games, he's hit 10 rushing attempts in 7 of the 9. That's a 78% hit rate. That should be like a minus 375. We're getting a plus 375. And lastly, when Allen runs 8 times since the start of last season, he gets a running touchdown, an anytime touchdown, 15 of 19 times when he gets that many runs. So Allen rushing touchdown, again, anytime touchdown, plus 115, and multiple TDs over half of those games. That's 8-1. We know we're going to see points in this one. The total's in the 50s. I think that is in play as well. He hasn't quite had as many anytime touchdowns against the Chiefs, but I truly, I'm playing all 6 of these. You'll see them all in the app. I like the 10 rushing attempts best. I think they could all hit. I think we'll hit at least a few of these. Don't get hurt, Josh, please, because that's a good way to lose all of them. But it should be a really fun game. I always want Josh rushing overs in a huge game like this. And we mentioned at the top, if you want the futures angle, that's really easy. Bet MVP for whoever you think is going to win. They'll be in a clear position for a top 2 seed. It's a head-to-head win. It's the big game. We're all watching it. This is a game I'll probably end up with like 7 units of bets on because of all the stuff we just gave out. But it's usually pretty consistent game to game. And so hopefully we get another classic here.
Yeah, I was looking down at the DraftKings app trying to figure out some rushing stuff. They don't have any specials up yet, but I was looking at maybe Mahomes and Allen if they have anything fun combined. That might be something I might look at. Because if you parlay 40 for both, it's only 4-1. And I don't think the Mahomes angle on that has nearly the opportunity that the Josh Allen angle does.
Yeah.
The other prop I was looking for, and I went across a bunch of books, including DraftKings, trying to find something of this nature. But Josh has 20 plus rushing yards in the second half of 3 straight versus Kansas City. So I felt like there is going to be an element of him doing that need to get yardage, need to get first downs more in the second half. But I can't find an angle yet there, but just something to keep in your back
pocket. Could be a live play too. If watch Nick Giffen and our guys that do the bet what happens live. That might be a one for them to play at halftime and get a live rushing over.
Especially, if he's done nearly nothing in the first half, I still think these scrambling and designed rush attempts are to come if it's not there already. So the other thing I think is just fascinating in this matchup is kind of the turnover stuff. I don't know if you've seen, but the fumble luck on Kansas City's side, where they've fumbled 8 or 9 times this year and haven't lost one yet, is nearly incredible. Some of the things that, and if you look last year, only 10 fumbles in total and lost only 3 of them. So to have 19 fumbles over 2 years and only lose 3 of them feels just absolutely ridiculous. So that's one angle on it. And to me, when I see these matchups and I've looked back, Buffalo very rarely turns the ball over in these games. Usually it's Kansas City making the dumb mistake and it's still coming back to hurt Buffalo in the end. Somehow, some way. So just interesting there. I think turnovers tend to be an odd thing. And in these games, especially when Kansas City's turned it over 2+ times, Buffalo's 4-0 straight up and against the spread. So we will see how that goes, but something I was looking at.